the land is in Cleveland.
Well, that's correct. We also, NASA Glen is transferred to the city. We also pick up 38 acres along the Brookpark Road corridor, which we think will be the great catalyst for development because you take the corridor and you look at NASA Glen at one end, General Motors at the other, and Ford Motor Company right in the center. It's going to make that corridor one of the hottest economic development corridors in the state.
I would have to say that it's just great prime real estate land to do something with besides what was being used for the dirty bookstores.
Well, as you know, we bought 7 of those and closed them down, and we're in the process, hopefully, of acquiring some more. We'll also get about $6 million in a settlement cash in this deal that I hope will be used to acquire more property and clear it on Brookpark Road, so we have a wide open opportunity to have developers come in and generate some revenue for the city.
Some of those areas, I remember the Charter House Hotel.
That is not up anymore.
I know. I look around and I think it's come so far, especially what with Brook Park having all the land, because it used to be you would police one side of the street and Cleveland would have to police the other side of Brookpark Road, and they just didn't have the manpower to get down there and clean up the area like you'd like them to.
Yeah, well, actually, it was very frustrating for our officers because literally the center line of the road separated the two cities, and the prostitutes would be out front of the place on the Cleveland side kind of thumbing their nose at the policemen, and we couldn't really do anything about it. But once we took over, our detective bureau and our police department went in and cleaned it up, and hopefully we can get in there if this issue passes with some new revenue and acquire some more and get that corridor moving forward.
Absolutely. And anybody I grew up in Fairview Park. So I'm familiar with the city of Brook Park, and if you've seen the development that's gone on out there, I can't see as anybody could be complaining about your job you've done, because it's leaps and bounds. It gets better and better and better.
Well, there's a few people that aren't too happy, but
there's always a few.
You try your best to lead people in the right direction, and I think over the years I've done that more often than not. But this is the most important decision that our city will face. It's a lifetime of work for me. It provides financial security for our city for decades to come. It will make Brook Park an economic force in the region, and we hope that the people come out tomorrow and do this for themselves and their family's future and vote yes on this issue.
Hey, and thank goodness for what happened with Ford Motor Company and the new engine.
That was a great sign, and again, they're closing plants around the country. We created a climate for Ford to invest in Brook Park, not only by tax incentives, but by reducing their electric bill about $6 million in a fight with CEI some time ago. And, but Ford is an entity that will look at do we have viable air transportation service. The airport's very important to Ford Motor Company. So again, this issue that the Brook Park voters are voting on tomorrow will affect the probably the biggest economic catalyst in Northeast Ohio, and that's the airport.
And the important thing is they have to get out and vote.
That's the important thing. I don't think there'll be any reason for them not to. It's supposed to be a nice day, and the polling locations are convenient for them. And this will be the first all-electronic voting in the history of Cuyahoga County. We're running an electronic voting machine tomorrow in Brook Park. It'll be the first time a whole city's been used. We've demonstrated them before, and we're very confident that this will be a very easy election, and we'll know the results very soon.
Did you know that they're still building at the IX Center? I spoke with someone who works out there, and they said they're still building party rooms in the basement.
Well, I think the IX Center is not going to come down. In this agreement also, they're guaranteed to stay up for 10 years. If this agreement is defeated and we appeal and lose, Cleveland could tear the IX Center down anytime they want. And I think the longer that it stands, the less chance it will ever come down. And I think that the IX Center will be a viable economic tool for this region for a long time to come, because that third runway is going to prove too expensive, and it won't be feasible. And so even as long as the IX Center stands, we get the revenue from it. We may not own it, so this deal even becomes better the longer the IX Center stays up.
Speaking with Brookpark Mayor Tom Coyne, now here's the best thing. This is what's going to clinch this deal. The $2 million of the city of Brook Park will get from NASA each year will allow the city to reduce each resident's property taxes by $200 or more. I got to tell you that when you start offering people something like that, all of a sudden you really get their attention.
Well, that's correct, and that's been my proposal to them, because we'll be able to do that with this deal. City Council's saying it's not in the agreement. Well, it's a commitment that you can rest assured that the day after this passes, the legislation will be there, and if Council doesn't pass it, then shame on them. They will have reneged on something that the people should receive. Our people have made great sacrifices over the last 20 years for the airport, and I think they're entitled to some relief besides the benefit of the revenues of the operation of the city. You know, we have a lot of people who are seniors who right now could use that extra $200, $250 a year to help to pay for some prescription drugs because Congress hasn't got their act together yet to address that problem. But it's something that everyone shares in. It's cost every homeowner in Brook Park over the last 12 years about $1,100 a year to fight this battle, so they should get some return in their pockets, and I think that this tax relief will be better than the $300 that President Bush is proposing to some people.
Well, and hey, $300 and $200, $500.
There you go.
So, hey, who can argue with money back? So the important thing, Mayor Coyne, is to get out tomorrow. You're a resident of Brook Park. Get off your fanny, get off your duff, get out there and vote.
If you see news happen, call the WTAM News tip line, 216-642-INFO. 216-642-4636. News Radio WTAM 1100.
That, of course, an interview from yesterday. Remember, get out and vote, you Brook Park residents, today. It's now 7:20 on the big one. Time for Sky Chief Helicopter Traffic and Weather. Together every 10 minutes on the 10s. This traffic, a service of Lens Crafters. Here's Rick Abel. Rick, are you there? What's going on out at our roadways? Apparently, Rick's...
Hey, I'm sorry, Gilly.
There you go.
I had a switch that I forgot to flip there, partner.
Well, don't forget to flip your switch there, buddy.
I'm sorry about that.
All right.
271 northbound, the car fire, actually it's a small truck, is right around Chagrin. It's off in the median. You can get around it, but fire's taking out the right-hand lane. It's going to be backed up towards the new Harvard interchange. I'm Rick Abel, Sky Chief Helicopter Traffic on News Radio WTAM 1100.
Channel 3 weather from Eileen McShade today. Sunny, muggy, high near 90. Currently 69 degrees in Cleveland. 69 degrees in Cleveland. Hey, and if you know the fan fact, be the 11th caller now at 578-1111 if you know the fan fact from last night's game.
Mornings 5 till 9 on News Radio WTAM 1100.
What about me? What about me? Rick Gilmour filling in for Bill Wills. I want to say congratulations to Earl Grimmick of Wickliffe, Ohio. He knew the Tribe fan fact. The Indians are one game over 500 at home with the record of 30-29. And congratulations to you. You get a pair of tickets to see the Indians play the White Sox on September 8th at our bleacher party going on out there. It's now 7:27 on the big one. Time for the Wall Street Journal Report, a service of Robert Half International. The future. Rick Gilmour in for Bill Wills. 7:40 on the big one. Time for Sky Chief Helicopter Traffic and Weather together every 10 minutes on the 10s. This traffic is a service of AT&T Wireless and GNC. Here's Rick Abel.
Doggone it, Gilly, we got a problem.
Again?
I'm afraid so. This is going to be inbound on the East Shoreway around Eddy Road in the left-hand lane. You've got a cat run out of gas. He's got a Bratnell PD behind him, and there's a big backup back to East 185th. Then 271 northbound around Chagrin, truck fire, right-hand berm. They put him out, sitting there with a cop behind him. That's express lanes. And then in the express lanes 271 southbound, people slowing down about a half-mile back up, looking at 4 PD that were chasing the guy that tried to outrun him on a motorcycle and failed. I'm Rick Abel, Sky Chief Helicopter Traffic on News Radio WTAM 1100.
Hey, Rick.
Yep.
I had an old Bratnall police car once, and it had a bunch of dents on the left front fender. You know, I suspect those were from belt buckles.
I got you.
All right. Talk to you later.
Hands on the hood, son.
Yep. All right. Let's send it over to the Channel 3 Weather Center and talk with Eileen McShade.
And good morning. We have another hot one on the way today. Sunshine and highs near 90. Muggy tonight, lows near 70. Tomorrow, pretty much the same thing. Things won't really change until Thursday when we get thunderstorms that cool us down as we head into the weekend. On the lake today, look for southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights 1 to 3 feet and the water temperature 76. I'm Eileen McShade with your Channel 3 forecast on the Big One News Radio WTAM 1100.
As part Rick Gilmour in for the vacationing Bill Wills, joined on the Newsmaker Hotline by John Ryan, the Executive Secretary of the AFL-CIO. Welcome and good morning.
Good morning.
I wondered if you could talk to us a little bit about the union's support of the agreement out there in the city of Brook Park in Issue 1.
Well, many of the unions affiliated with the Cleveland AFL-CIO did give support and contacted their members, often sending letters or making phone calls to support Issue 1 because many unions feel that it supports family supporting jobs, both in rebuilding the airport and also the fact that the airport is an engine for Northeast Ohio.
Well, absolutely. It would mean construction jobs. It would mean construction jobs for the city of Brook Park, for their economic zone out there, if they want to build a park out there or some sort. I think it's a win-win situation. I think that Cleveland must have a larger airport, retain its ability to have a hub. I think that Brook Park is a winner in the development that they'll have out there. It looks good for the entire region, don't you think?
Well, one of the things that people find, unions have found, is that the more the voters in Brook Park knew about the agreement, the more supportive they were of the agreement. And one of the things I would urge is that before anyone in Brook Park goes thinking that they're voting on an agreement that they might know about or they heard something about, is make sure that they get educated. People need to vote for the agreement, not personalities or, getting involved in local politics.
I've heard some folks say, yeah, but look at all the houses that will be lost out there. And I thought, if you really think about it, if I had a home out in that area right near the airport and someone wanted to offer me good money for it, I'd move. Because what with the advent of more planes, I've lived near the airport. I'd rather live farther away. That would sound fine by me.
One of the things that this agreement does is it restricts how many homes can be taken and how much airport development can occur. And that's something that people really have to take a look. And, a good hard look at, is this a good thing for Brook Park? Many of our unions think it is and are communicating that out to their members.
In my opinion, it is, and I could see it doing good for Brook Park. They could have more hotels for the airport. It just does the entire area a great deal of good.
Well, and the other thing it does is there's been a 10-year battle that the city of Brook Park is spending, I believe, $2 million a year on attorney fees, and it's a way of bringing that to an end and making sure that Brook Park tax base is very solid for the future. And that's something that everyone in Brook Park really needs to take a look at before they go out and they vote on issue 1.
And like you said, don't judge it on personalities, that sort of thing. Look at what it can do for the area.
It really reminds me of a good agreement being brought back and maybe some people not liking the negotiator and end up voting against the agreement because of the negotiator. And in the union world, one of the things we really recommend people to do is to read the agreement. And if anyone has questions after reading the agreement, then they should vote their conscience. But our concern is that many people who are against us may not fully understand the agreement itself and put personalities aside.
Well, I've heard about that happening in the past, and people will say, well, I don't understand what's going on, so I think I'll vote against it. Well, if you don't understand completely what's going on, and you could have someone explain it to you if you can't understand it, maybe you shouldn't vote at all. I mean, if you don't understand it, don't vote against something just because you don't understand how it's worded.
In my sense, an agreement like this, it's a special election. People are very busy. They have busy lives. But this is something that will impact the city, and people should take just a few minutes and take a look. I think the agreement is, I believe it's about 6 pages long. And it's something that I would urge people to vote on because I think if they're informed, they will have a different view of this than if they're just looking at personalities or just reading some headlines.
All right. Thank you, John.
Okay, well, thank you for having us.
All right. Very good. That's John Ryan, the Executive Secretary of the AFL-CIO, urging you to get out there and vote for this thing in Brook Park, okay? Well, it's 7:50 here on the big one. Time for Sky Chief Helicopter Traffic and Weather together every 10 minutes on the 10s. This traffic, a service of John Deere. Hey, Rick Abel, anything better out there?
No. In fact, it's only getting worse here, Gilly. We got us a wreck on 480. This is going to be westbound, west end of the Valley View Bridge. Some guy got crazy. He's got the thing wrapped into the left-hand retaining wall. I bet he's glad it's there. You fall off that dang bridge. That happened to a guy one time about 5-6 years ago. He takes out the left-hand berm, most of the left-hand lane. Fire and ambulance are there. It was already slow back almost to Granger, and now it's building back to Lee. So 480 westbound is all fouled up. Then inbound East Shoreway, lose the left-hand lane with a broken down. Bracknell PD behind this guy. He's at Eddy Road, and the backup is almost back to Babbitt. So you've got 2 major interstates that are really messed up. I'm Rick Abel, Sky Chief Helicopter Traffic on News Radio WTAM 1100.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah?
I want to stress to people how important it is to wear your seatbelt.
Uh-huh.
I saw a pickup truck that got wrecked. It was parked out behind Fairview Park City Hall years ago, and it didn't look that bad.
Yeah.
And I asked what had happened, and they said that some kids were riding along, and they hit the Fairview Bridge, and that they were one of the men was ejected out through the truck window and went over the bridge. And had it not been for that, he would be alive today.
Good Lord.
I mean, can you imagine a freak accident like that? But I can't remind people often enough to drive the speed limit, or at least relatively closely, because if not for yourself, watch out for other people that drive like morons and idiots and fools, and wear your seatbelt.
Exactly.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Channel 3 weather from Eileen McShay. Sunny today, muggy, a high of 90. Tonight, low near 70. Sounds like it's still time to keep running that air conditioner, at least it is for me. Tomorrow, much of the same, 90 for a high. Currently 69 in Cleveland, 69. Rick Gilmour in for the vacationing Bill Wills. 8:10 on the big one. Time for Sky Chief helicopter traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 10s. This traffic a service of GNC. Hey, Rick Abel, anything looking better?
Oh, no, Gilly. Look at this. We got a bad one here. This is going to be on the Ohio Turnpike. It is going to be eastbound. It's about halfway between I-71 and I-77. This is a construction zone in here, so there's no berm. As I'm looking at it, just got here. We've got an SUV, looks like a Chevy Suburban to me, up on its side. Both lanes are blocked. There's no berm in here because it is a construction zone. Back up in it about, I'm guessing 5 miles right now, and this is not going to go away in a hurry. Then on 480, this is going to be westbound at the west end of the Valley View Bridge. The guy that spun it around backwards and hit into the wall. The back up there is back to 271. On the East Shoreway, we had a broken down that sat there in the left-hand lane for about a half hour, and it's still going to be very hectic as you're inbound on the Shoreway. I'm Rick Abel, Sky Chief helicopter traffic on News Radio WTAM 1100.
Now let's go over to the Channel 3 Weather Center. Hey, Eileen McShay.
And good morning. It's going to be hot again today. We're looking for sunshine and high temperatures near 90. Muggy tonight, lows near 70. Tomorrow, once again near 90 and sunshine. And then finally, cooling down by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with thunderstorms Thursday afternoon. On the lake today, look for southwesterly winds, 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 1 to 3 feet, and the water temperature up to 76. I'm Eileen McShay with your Channel 3 forecast on the Big One News Radio WTAM 1100.
Indians take on the Twins tonight, 8:05 game. At 7 o'clock, you can hear Tribe Insider with Casey Coleman, 7:37 to 8:05. Indians warm up with Matt Underwood. Let's check in with Matt. Hey, Matt, after Sunday's game, didn't you think the Indians should have finished a little stronger?
Well, yeah, Rick, I think everybody felt that after the game Sunday night, the Indians had reached a turning point in their season, and maybe they were ready to take off at this point. And who knows, they still might. But the problem last night was, again, momentum only carries you as far as your that day's starting pitcher. And Charlie Nagy just didn't pitch that well last night. He gave up 10 hits in 4 innings, but you know, he didn't get much help defensively. I mean, the Indians committed 4 errors behind him, and they all happened early in the ball game, and just they allowed Seattle to just keep gaining the momentum, and the Indians were never really able to steal it away from them. And you commit 4 errors against a good team like Seattle, you're just not going to win many ball games.
CC Sabathia is pitching today, and the expectations for this guy are pretty high, aren't they?
I think we expect a lot from CC Sabathia. I mean, you know, he is only 21 years old, and this is a big game to start for him tonight, but he expects a lot out of himself. And from a developmental standpoint, it may not be fair for us to expect him to go out there and dominate the Twins tonight. But I think that's what he expects of himself. And again, that shows you just how mature he is for only being 21 years old. He wants the ball in these situations. He wants to be the guy. And who knows, maybe he'll be able to go out there and give you a good dominating performance tonight and really start this series off on the right note and kind of set the tone for the other starters. You got Cologne going on Wednesday, and then Chuck Finley makes his long-anticipated return on Thursday.
I'm speaking with Matt Underwood. Now the Indians, they're kind of doing poorly lately, but the Twins are as well, so that kind of keeps us in contention, doesn't it?
It's interesting that the Twins have struggled as much as the Indians have really since the All-Star break. Minnesota's 8-16. The pitching that had really carried them to this point in the year has not been very good. The earned run average is over 5 since the All-Star break. They're not scoring a lot of runs, so they're kind of at a crossroads, just like the Indians are. So it's probably very appropriate that these two teams meet with the division on the line, and both teams really trying to figure out, you know, where do they go from here? Are they going to stand and fight and contend for the championship, or kind of wither away down the stretch. This is a big series. Yes, it's only the first of 12 meetings the rest of the way between these two clubs, but tonight's a big game because it really sets the tone for the rest of the way.
Well, thank you, Matt.
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
The WTAM.
8:20 on the big one. Time for Sky Chief Helicopter traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 10s. This traffic is a service of AutoZone and Southwestern Bell. Please tell me, Rick Abel, has it gotten any better?
Well, I've got some little bit of good news here, Gilly. The wreck that we had on 480 westbound on the Valley View Bridge, clear it out of there, but it's still going to be real slow from 98 Transportation all the way back to 271. On the Ohio Turnpike eastbound, before the rest area, the new redesigned rest area before I-77, you've got an overturned SUV in there blocking both available lanes. There's no berms there, so you can't get around the thing. It's a construction zone, and it's backed up in there. I mean, stopped for about 5 miles. People already getting out of their vehicles and just standing around. I'm Rick Abel, Sky Chief Helicopter Traffic on News Radio, WTAM 1100.
Let me ask you something, brother. I'm taking 90 west. How's that look?
90 westbound?
Yeah.
You mean like out towards Rocky River?
Yeah.
It's cool.
All right, thanks.
All right.
All right, Channel 3 weather from Eileen McShade. Today, sunny, hot, muggy, near 90 for a high. Tonight, low near 70. Currently 71 under hazy skies, 71.
Don't let a broken fan belt leave you stranded. If you can't remember the last time you installed new belts, get to AutoZone and replace them today.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Still dialing the area code plus 555-1212 to find a number in another city? Why dial a bunch of numbers when you can just dial 411 from Ameritech for any number, anywhere?
Now it's time for 2020 Sports, a service of Nextel, and here's Casey.
Well, Gilly, Tribe had no magic last night, returned to their losing ways with an 8-6 loss to Seattle. Nagy didn't pitch well. He allowed 8 runs, 6 earned. He had help, though. The Tribe committed 4 errors behind him.
The pitch is hit to left, a base hit. Branyan charges. They're going to try to send the runner. Here comes the play at the plate. Diaz tags, and the ball is knocked out of his hand by David Bell. The runner is safe. Throw to third, and safe at third base.
Everybody was safe. Ichiro, big series, 8 hits, 6 ribbies.
The 1-1 pitch. Swung on, a smash to center. Base hit. Guillen scores. Bell moves to third. Wilson to second. 4 straight base runners in the Seattle fifth.
Suzuki 3 for 5, 2 RBIs on the night as the Indians end their homestand at 2-5. Here's Charlie Nagy, whose record now 4-5. His ERA now 6.41.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where, you know, you give a team a few extra outs, and a team like that, they capitalize on it, and they just put the pressure on all the time. And
yeah, that's what happens. 4 errors against Seattle. You're not going to win many games. Tomey smacked his 37th now with 97 RBIs as he continues to be hotter in the weather. But Jimmy looked ahead to the series starting tonight in Minnesota.
Going in there, we know they're going to be all jacked up for us just as much as we're going to be there for them. So it should be a good series. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will. CC Sabathia, Rick Reed, 8:05 start on the big one. I'll have the insider at 7. Burb has been sent to the pen. He'll be replaced in the rotation by Steve Woodard Friday night in Texas. And you wonder how much longer they can go with Nagy in the rotation. The bottom line this morning, the Indians will begin that series a game back. The Twins were idle yesterday. The Indians could have moved into a first-place tie. Boston beat Texas 10-7. And with the Yankees lost to Anaheim and the first Red Sox sweep of the Rangers since 75, Boston is 2.5 games back in New York. And Scott Hattenberg will remember last night's game. He hit into a triple play, and his next at bat hit a grand slam. Manny hit number 35, and Oakland made it a sweep over the Tigers, their first sweep over the Tigers in 46 years. They're just a half game behind the Tribe in the wild card standings. The Indians are 2 back of Boston in the WC standings. Browns getting ready for the Packers Saturday night at the stadium. Tim Couch coming off a nice outing against the Bills Saturday at Edinburgh. Here's offense coordinator Bruce Arians on the Kentucky Rifle.
He was right on his reads. He was play action. He was right on the money. And Mike tried to score with that last one before he caught it. And he'd had another big one. And he handled the blitz and the pressures in yesterday's practice and today extremely well. He's playing extremely well right now.
Browns will be on the field in about 5 minutes and again at 3:30 this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Rams beat Miami 17-10 last night. As former Buckeye Joe Germain, 11-13, he ran for a touchdown. The Patriots canceled practice yesterday with the shocking death of quarterback coach Dick Rabin. He died of heart failure. He was 45. The Patriots still no word from Terry Glenn, who left camp on Sunday, and the Chargers came to terms with quarterback Drew Brees. 4 years, $10 million. The deal leaves top pick LaDainian Tomlinson as the Chargers' only unsigned draft choice, while the Jets' top pick, receiver Santana Moss, will be out until mid-season following knee surgery yesterday. Casey Coleman, News Radio, WTAM 1100.
Hi, you've reached the office of Paul Behrens. To leave a message, press 1. If it's urgent, press 2. Ugh. If it's so urgent, why didn't you just use Nextel Direct Connect, the digital two-way radio feature on every Nextel phone? That's the way to get through to me, through to your coworkers, through to your business colleagues. That's the way to get a leg up on the competition. And with unlimited Nextel Direct Connect, you can use it all the time. Even save some coin by not chewing up all your cell minutes. But if you want to play phone tag, try using a real frantic-sounding voice, so I know it's urgent. Maybe muster up some tears or something.
Nextel Direct Connect. Get right through. Shop at Nextel.com or call 1-800-NEXTEL-9.
Now get unlimited Nextel Direct Connect and 2,000 night and weekend minutes on select plans starting at $54.99 per month. Offer ends August 31st, 2001. New activation, credit approval, and 1-year promotional agreement required. Call 1-800-NEXTEL-9 or shop at Nextel.com. Nextel, how business gets done.
It's a fact that more new cars, more school buses, more police cars, and more families on vacation ride on tires made by Goodyear than any other. If you have questions about your tires, no matter what brand, Goodyear's experienced tire experts can help. Now through September 2nd, get a free $50 gas card when you buy a set of 4 selected Goodyear tires, including many popular sport utility tires. For the Goodyear location nearest you and complete details, just call 1-800-GOODYEAR.
Dear Aleve, I had these sharp pains in my knee, even though I had knee surgery a couple years before. Most pain relievers I tried didn't last long enough, and it looked like I'd never play tennis again. Then my orthopedic doctor told me about Aleve.
Aleve has the strength to work all day with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that.
Thanks, Aleve. You really saved my game. Now, if only you could do something about my serve.
Aleve, all day strong, all day long.
Comparison based on lowest recommended dose for a 24-hour treatment. Use as directed.
WTAM 1100.
We know you've been dreaming about owning a boat for a long time. Well, now is the best time to realize that dream. Coastal Marine, one of the top Wellcraft dealers in the world, is bringing over 20 brand new Wellcrafts to Great Northern Mall Thursday through Sunday for a one-time inventory closeout sale. 4 days only. This Thursday through Sunday, you can get incredible savings on your new Wellcraft boat. And it gets even better because you can get factory direct cash discounts emailed right to you. Just log on to boatcash.com and you're on your way to owning a beautiful new Wellcraft. Hurry to the Coastal Marine sale this Thursday through Sunday just outside Sears Automotive at Great Northern Mall, just off 480 on Great Northern Boulevard. With any Wellcraft purchase during this huge event, you get a $250 gift certificate from Sears. Coastal Marine is located in Port Clinton, but they're bringing the boats to you with great savings, cash discounts, and super low financing. Now is the time to save thousands on the Wellcraft of your dreams at Great Northern Mall this Thursday through Sunday only.
I wanted to tell you about an event that Bill and I promote every year. This is the 9th annual Cruising with the Cruisers, put on by American Cruisers to benefit shoes and clothes for kids. It's a great big car show out there at Parmatown Shopping Center. That's this Saturday, August 11th, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., rain or shine. I've been out there a number of times, and believe me, it's a good cause for kids who need shoes, who need clothes, and you won't be disappointed. If you do own an old car, feel free, take it on out there. Dash plaques to the first 500 vehicles. They got a 50-50 raffle. They got dancing going on. They got toy giveaway with Ronald McDonald. Lots of stuff going on out there. If you're just interested in old cars, like I say, you will not be disappointed. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of cars out there. This used to be at Brookgate Shopping Center, if you're familiar with that show. It has now moved, and it will be at the Parmatown Shopping Center this Saturday from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m.
coverage on Cleveland's only news radio, WTAM 1100, a service of Clear Channel Worldwide.
To swap or not to swap? That is the question in Brook Park. Good morning, I'm Sandy Hayes Flynn, and this is the 8:30 report on News Radio, WTAM 1100. Details coming up. Sky Chief traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 10.
Ohio Turnpike eastbound, rolled over truck has got the interstate blocked before I-77, a good 5-mile backup in there. Every place else that's slow is because of earlier wrecks that have cleared. I'm Rick Abel, Sky Chief helicopter traffic on News Radio, WTAM 1100.
Channel 3 weather, here's Eileen McShay.
Muggy conditions this morning with temperatures in the 70s, afternoon highs near 90.
Right now hazy and 71 degrees at your official weather station, News Radio, WTAM 1100. Voters in Brook Park today deciding the future of Cleveland Hopkins Airport. They're being asked to approve a land swap deal with Cleveland that in part includes the buyout of 468 homes. A court appearance set this morning for 16-year-old Mariah Thompson of Shaker Heights. Cops say she hid her pregnancy, then delivered and murdered her baby, hid the body in a shoebox. A Nordonia Hills school bus aide and her supervisor charged with beating up on a 5-year-old disabled boy. Cops say they have videotaped evidence. News continues now with Paul Harvey. It's 8:30 on Cleveland's only news radio, WTAM 1100.
Paul Harvey, news and comment. Brought to you by the Phonics Game. Now, Paul Harvey News.
Good morning, America. I'm David Hartman for Paul Harvey. Yeah. It's hot over most of the country. Here in New York, the temperature was over